In a very rare move for Luke Richardson, he's gone on record in saying that nothing on this team is going to be a given, and everything from this point on has to be earned. We also have a very big bit of news here that Kyle Davidson could make a very, very sneaky move to help this roster for the rest of the season. But we have a lot to talk about here in this video, so let's not waste any time and get into this really quickly, though. Just before we get into it, though, 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all your Blackhawks news as it happens, and you want to see the road to Macklin Celebrini, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, sub to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the Blackhawks news. But like I said, we're going to start this one off here with a quote from Luke Richardson, which is kind of out of pocket for him. He called it the players, I guess technically, if you want to say that. I think that there are a few players on this team that this was kind of directed to, but not really given in the words of their name. So let's get into this here really quick. This comes from Mario Tirabassi on Twitter. There's a video in this link too, in this tweet, if you want to go watch that, but here's the quote that Luke Richardson has. As the Blackhawks eventually get healthier and the NHL level players get back into the lineup, guys will have to earn their spots and minutes, and it isn't just about point production or highlight reel plays. And to me, this kind of does fit to the entire team. This team's gone through a lot of changes over this season. There's been a lot of players in, a lot of players out due to injuries and other factors, but now is the point where everybody's starting to get healthy again. We haven't seen an injury for a while, knock on wood. Hopefully we don't see another one for a long time, and players are starting to make their way back into the lineup. But, at this point, a lot of players are going to be kind of in no man's land, knowing where they're not going to be in the lineup. They might be going down the AHL, and there's some people that may be kind of without a spot in this team. And one player that comes to mind when I seen this tweet was Lukas Reichel. He's been a bit of a dark spot lately, in I guess you can say. He's been very poor in his play, I guess. He hasn't played well, and he's been one of the players on this team that, is expected to be good. So, what do you think about this? What is Lukas Reichel's spot in this? And I think this is really kind of directed at him. But, Noah, what do you think about this Luke Richardson quote? We've seen him from many other teams in the NHL, many other positions, that he's been committed to where he's been, and this is no different in Chicago. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, well, I've always been a fan of Luke Richardson, even back in his Montreal days. And I mean, if this quote just makes it more significant to me of how good of a coach he is. He's committed. He wants to make the best team he can out there, best team to compete. And as a Blackhawks fan and as, an NHL fan, I guess I'll say, you got to respect that. And you got to love that he wants to, compete every night and be the best team he can be. So, I mean, that's my reasoning why I like this quote from Luke Richardson.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that this team, Luke Richardson, Kyle Davidson, they all kind of knew when all these injuries occurred that this was not going to be an easy run. There's probably going to be a lot of losses, a lot of games where they're just going to be out of hand over this time. However, now that everybody's starting to come back, I think they realize that there's some players on this team who've been playing well. There's some who are playing well that were not expected to. And I think this team, once everybody gets healthy again, has a real shot to win some games. And I think this is now they're realizing that they're starting to take it a bit more seriously. They're starting to, get everybody in this lineup and prepare for the future. Because a lot of these guys, let's just say it straight up as it is, will be playing together for a long time. We expect Lukas Reichel, we expect Connor Bedard, we expect Kevin Korchinkski, Alex Vlasic, a lot of these guys to be on this team and be a part of the future of this team. So I think this management side of things now is they're starting to take this as a reality. They're starting to say, okay, now everybody's healthy. We're getting back into what we wanted to start the season like. And they're going to start to, make a few adjustments, I guess you could say, for the time being, saying that nobody's job is safe yet. You have to earn it to this point, and this is the beginning of the actual rebuild on the ice, in my opinion. I think this is a very powerful quote from Luke Richardson saying that, it's going to be a change that a lot of people probably won't like, but it's got to happen for the right direction of this team. But I'll pull up the stats here from the players, and I do apologize. This is an absolute terrible screenshot, but I wanted to fit everybody that has played on the team this season in. So you can very briefly see it, and you can pause and zoom in or whatnot. But, right now you can see Lukas Reichel is 12th in points there. Corey Perry, who has played very few games, I believe that says 16. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but he's higher in points on this list than Lukas Reichel. Lukas Reichel is supposed to be the next guy on this team. Played 49 games and has 9 points. That right there, to me, I think this is kind of an indication that Lukas Reichel is one of these players. Obviously, he's a fan favorite. People want him to do good. People are hoping for the change in his season. But if it don't happen, things are going to happen. Things are going to change for Lukas Reichel, maybe in the AHL, maybe at fourth line, maybe he scratched a few games. So it's going to be a very big change for the players on this team. But I think it is the right move for Luke Richardson for this team to make for the rest of the season. But on the management side of things as well, we have a potential waiver claim coming that could be pretty sneaky if Kyle Davidson chooses to make this signing. This might be a lot of oddities for some people to think about this, but Tyler Pitlick is on waivers from the New York Rangers. And Tab Bamford says, multiple Pitlicks in Chicago, Rem Pitlick being his cousin, currently on the Blackhawks. And, maybe this could be a good idea. Montreal had this, I believe it was last season. I believe they had both at the same time. Yeah. Maybe this cousin chemistry could work out for the Blackhawks by some means. If this could happen, if they got Rem Pitlick, who hasn't had a point yet on the Blackhawks, paired up with Tyler Pitlick, if they do choose to claim him, it would be kind of interesting to see what it would be like. Yeah. But I think that this also goes forward with Tyler Pitlick being a possible suitor for what Luke Richardson said in the previous one, that nobody has a spot in this team. Tyler Pitlick just adds another body onto this team, adds another, NHL experienced player, as you can see here, who's played many, many teams in the NHL. Never been a guy that's going to put up points, obviously. He's kind of been a rotation player, you can see by his games there as well. But he's been solid. He's been okay where he's been. He's been, a guy that's just a third, fourth line fill-in for the most part. But maybe pairing up with a family member could work out. We've seen it in many other locations, although being very different situations. But it could be an interesting one. So, Noah, what do you think about Tyler Pitlick, seeing him on Montreal and whatnot?
I don't think he's an entirely game changer. I mean, obviously you talked about the Pitlick cousin connection. I mean, I guess I'm for that reason, but I don't think he's much of he doesn't really move the needle for me, I guess is the best way to put it. But I don't know. I guess the cousin thing, yeah, sure, why not?
He's definitely not going to go and be on this team, if at all. First of all, this is obviously a waiver claim, so I very much think that he will be passed upon. To be honest with you, I really don't think Chicago should claim him, but maybe something could come out of this, something pretty funny, and I could just imagine both of these guys playing and putting up, points together. I think it could just be a pretty funny scenario for the Blackhawks, the situation they're in right now. But on a serious note, it could be, a depth addition for the Blackhawks. I don't think that he'll be any serious move. I don't think he'll have any serious NHL playing time, but you can't have enough depth, especially on this Blackhawks team where the depth they do have is a lot of rookies and some people you don't want to rush into the NHL. So it could be an interesting move. It could work out for the Blackhawks for the time being. It's only a 1-year contract anyways, at very close to league minimum. So I think it was. Yeah, I think it's 1 year at 7 points or $760K or something like that. So nothing that would move the needle for the Blackhawks, but it could be an interesting one to see. But one final topic we have here for this video is Davidson. He's being on the broadcast tonight for the Blackhawks on the game coming for 10 p.m. Newfoundland time, so pretty late for us. But once again, it will be a pretty interesting interview. Chris Foster said this. He goes, "We'll have GM Davidson on the broadcast tonight at the start of the second period." So we may see some interesting quotes come out of this. We may see some news come out of this from Kyle Davidson. I think it's going to be a lot about the Winter Classic, or kind of a lot about the rebuild and stuff like that. But if any news does come out of this, we'll have it right here. So make sure to hit that sub button if you haven't already. And you do want to see if anything big comes out of this, any major news, any breaking trade proposals, maybe anything we see from this coming over the deadline or the free agency, because we have a lot of stuff that we need to discuss about Kyle Davidson. A lot of the unknowns should hopefully be coming up soon, which we'd like to see a few questions on. But like I said, if you haven't hit the sub button already, make sure to do it so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But now, you got any final words here on this video?
Yeah, Kyle Lewis has been, pretty free flow this season, letting everybody know what his plans are. So very curious to see what he brings at that press conference or that interview. So yeah, we're going to try, and if anything happens, we'll try and get it out to you as quick as possible. But that's it, I think.
Yeah, no, it's kind of just going to be an interesting one to watch, see what he has to say. See if we can pick any few hints out of there, but that's pretty much it. There's not much. I don't think he's going to be revealing any of his plans too majorly on this this broadcast. But like I said, once again, hit the sub button if you haven't already, if you want to see any news that comes out of this. But that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.